1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. Up until a few months ago, when we decided to film a documentary focused on mental illness, that 1 in 4 statistic hadn't really sunk in yet. My co-producer Joe and I started to brainstorm ways to show the broad reach of mental illness. There was much to be considered. Do we focus on one mental illness or try to cover them all? What exactly are all of the mental illnesses? And what does it mean to be mentally ill? We began reviewing past and present documentaries that aimed to answer one or many of these questions, but we found the content of that material to be too dry, too factual, too 1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. We wanted to avoid the talking head style documentary, and suddenly an idea was born. We would follow a young adult living with mental illness around the country as he or she attempted to break the stigma of mental illness through storytelling. One problem: we didn't have anyone to follow. Joe went home to visit family when he ran into an old high school classmate, Dylan Archer. Joe explained to Dylan the project we were working on and our trouble finding the right person to narrate the film. Then Dylan shared his story. He was born to drug-addicted, alcoholic parents. His mother was abusive, and his father went to prison when he was just 7 years old. He barely graduated high school, and after the death of his best friend, he decided to join the military. When Dylan sought help for feeling depressed, he was discharged for having suicidal thoughts. 1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. That statistic was starting to mean something. Dylan told Joe he was maintaining an online journal about his struggle with depression, and that he wants to help other people in similar situations. The plan for our documentary and Dylan's story matched perfectly. We found our narrator, and the project was back on track. We spent the next few weeks outlining the route for our journey. We marked points on the map that coincided with people and events in Dylan's life, as well as areas that could help tell the narrative of mental illness in America. The pieces were coming together. Then I received a phone call from Joe's dad. He told me Joe's aunt passed away, and he wanted to be sure somebody was with Joe when he heard the news because Joe was epileptic, and the stress might trigger a seizure. It was a stressful week, and when we traveled to film a wedding that weekend, Joe had a seizure. Epilepsy is not technically classified as a mental illness, but for the past few weeks, Joe has been anything but mentally well. He's having trouble concentrating and feeling depressed. 1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. I was sitting in my favorite coffee shop when I overheard a woman telling her friend that she is having trouble finding happiness. She talked about how she was raped when she was younger, and how she still lives in fear. 1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. I was at the gym with a friend from college who said he was recovering from Veterans Day when he got too intoxicated while partying with his fellow veterans. He survived an attack overseas and has been dealing with PTSD ever since. 1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. I received a message from the 2013 Miss Heart of the Lakes Beauty Queen. She expressed interest in our project and told me she lives with generalized anxiety disorder, ADD, and clinical depression. 1 in 4 adults will experience a severe mental illness in any given year. 1 in 4. What 1 in 4 will not do is share their story due to the stigma of mental illness. Call Me Mental is an online storytelling campaign to break that stigma. With our clinical experts, public relations team, and you, we can do it.